The island was dying, not quickly, not mercifully, the way things die in the Pacific, slowly, beneath a sun that forgets you are human. In mud that remembers every name. It was August 1944. Leyte Gulf had not yet been written into history. The jungles of New Guinea still swallowed men whole, unit by unit, name by name, without ceremony or witness. The 41st Infantry Division had been moving for 11 days. 11 days without resupply. 11 days on quarter rations, then eighth rations, then nothing but bark water, and the quiet sound of men deciding whether to keep going. Private Elias Cord was 19 years old. He had been 19 for 6. His boots had dissolved at the soles. He wrapped his feet in canvas cut from a destroyed ammunition sack and kept walking. 3 men in his platoon had collapsed that morning. Not from enemy fire. From the weight of still being alive, and then they found the prisoner. He appeared at the edge of a clearing, barely standing, barely breathing. A Japanese soldier, young, thin in a way that stopped men mid-step. His uniform had rotted off his body in patches. He raised both hands. His wrists were the width of rope. The patrol stopped. No one spoke. And 5 the jungle breathed around them in long, humid waves. And then a soldier stepped forward and hit him, not in combat, not in fear. A .5 in something uglier, and smaller than either of those things. In what General Douglas MacArthur did next became one of the most remembered moments of moral authority in the entire Pacific campaign. What he said, quietly, without raising his voice, stunned every man who heard it into silence. Before we continue, if you believe leadership is built in moments like these, not in comfort, not in safety, but in the seconds when no one would blame you for looking away, this channel exists for you. Subscribe. Every week, we bring you the stories history almost forgot now. Back to New Guinea. MacArthur arrived at the forward position 2 hours after the incident was reported. He did not arrive loudly. He arrived the way dangerous things arrive. Without warning, without theater, carried only by the weight of what he already knew. The air temperature that afternoon was 104 degrees. The humidity made breathing feel like swallowing wet cloth. Men along the line had not bathed in 3 weeks. Their skin had begun to crack, then weep, then harden into something that no longer felt like skin. Le-5 medical supplies had run out 4 days prior. Sergeant James Whitfield, 34 years old, had lost partial hearing in his left ear from a mortar concussion 2 weeks earlier. He had not left the line. He was not offered the option. 5 Corporal Denny Marsh, 22, was moving on a stress fracture in his right foot. No X-ray had confirmed it. No one needed one. 5. He walked in a way that made other men wince just watching him. These were the men MacArthur passed as he moved through the position. E5, he looked at them. He did not look away. He reached the prisoner. The Japanese soldier had been restrained, loosely, almost as an afterthought, near the base of a large fig tree. He had not been given water. He had not been given shade. He was conscious, barely. His breathing was the slow, mechanical thing of a body that has made peace with stopping. MacArthur stood over him for a long time without speaking. The men nearby watched the general's face. There was nothing readable there. Not anger yet, not disgust yet. Something slower. Something more frightening. Because controlled anger, in a man of that rank, carries consequences that rage never could. Luffman R5, he turned to the soldier who had struck the prisoner. The man was 23. His name was recorded. His commanding officer was standing 4 feet away and had not intervened. MacArthur looked at the officer first. That look lasted 9 seconds. Tight 5 men, who were present, estimated it afterward, because it was the kind of silence that makes you count. Then he spoke. Psi-5, this man. He gestured at the prisoner, without looking at him, surrendered. He is under our authority now. What happens to him is a reflection of what we are, not what he is. What we are. He paused. You have shown me something about what we are today. Captain, I intend to correct it. The prisoner was given water. He was given shade. A medic was summoned. The same medic treating American soldiers, and instructed to assess and treat the prisoner with the same standard applied to every other patient on that line. The soldier who struck him was removed from forward duty. 5. The officer who watched and said nothing lost his command of that section that afternoon. MacArthur did not shout. He never raised his voice past the ordinary. That was the part men could not stop talking about afterward. He said what he said at a volume meant for conversation, and every man within 40 feet heard every word as if he had used a megaphone. B5 because silence, when it is absolute, carries sound perfectly. What spread through the division in the days that followed was not a rumor, and 5 rumors distort. This traveled unchanged because the men who carried it could not find a single word to exaggerate. It was already extreme in its plainness. Veterans of the 41st would recall it in memoirs, in letters, in oral histories recorded decades later in living rooms that smelled like old paper and careful memory. They did not recall it as a story about a prisoner. They recalled it as the moment they understood what MacArthur actually believed command meant. Not rank, not distance, not the management of men from a position of safety command as he practiced it, was proximity, was witness, was the refusal to allow suffering to become invisible, simply because looking away required no courage and no paperwork. Sergeant Whitfield wrote about it in 1971. He said, "I had followed orders my entire military life. That afternoon was the first time I followed a man. There is a question that moment leaves behind, and it has followed every person who has ever, like 5, heard this story. It is not a comfortable question. It is not meant to be. When the cost of doing the right thing is 0, when no one will punish you, no one will blame you. When looking away requires nothing, what do you do? Not in war, in your office, in your neighborhood. 5. In the ordinary Tuesday afternoon of your life. Yost my 5, when a small cruelty is happening 3 feet away and stopping it costs you nothing but the decision to stop it. What do? What would you have done at the base of that tree? If these stories matter to you, the ones that strip leadership down to its bones and ask what's left, subscribe. History is full of moments that changed everything. Most of them happened quietly. In the places no camera reached, we find them every week for you.